Hey, what's up YouTube? Down in the Smartphone Guy coming back at you with another video, and today we're going to take a look at a tablet called the ZTE Trek 2 HD, and it's also known as the AT&T Trek 2 HD, as you can see over here on the box, and that's because originally it was an AT&T exclusive. So I actually picked it up from a different website, from Yugster.com, so quick shout out to them. This is a company that's been around since 2005, and they sell all kind of discounted items, so it can be, in this case, tablets, cell phones, things like that, all kinds of electronics, but then also home decorations and things like that. Pretty much anything that you can buy on Amazon, you can pick up on Yugster, and it's all at discounted prices. So the retail price, at least if you pick this up on AT&T, is $150, but you can pick it up on Yugster for $90, and it is unlocked. So I did throw my T-Mobile SIM card in there just to test it out to see that it worked, and it worked just fine. That is actually their price if you are not subscribed to their website. If you go ahead and subscribe to their website, you can actually get it for $80. So subscribing to their website basically just means you're going to get an email every day with some deals that they have going on that day, or whatever their deals that they're promoting at the moment. So like I mentioned, $80 if you sign up for Yugster.com promotions. So anyways, let's go ahead and talk about whether this thing is worth that price point and what all this thing has to offer. So first thing I want to mention, and this is definitely the biggest selling point of this device, is the front firing speakers and that 8-inch display. So this to me is just an entertainment device. It's a great device for watching things like Netflix, browsing social media, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, checking out some YouTube videos. That's primarily what I've been using it for, is entertainment. And that's what I see this really useful for. And the reason I say that is because it's probably not going to be a gamer's tablet. If you want a gamer's tablet, another device I used, the Xiaomi sorry, I got to get this out. The Xiaomi Mi Tab 3 is one that I definitely would recommend for gamers, but this one is one that I would say more is for just entertainment purposes. This is for your basic browsing, going on the internet, kind of surfing. I'm just wasting some time on social media and Netflix, YouTube, things like that. Because if you take a look at the multi-core score, so this is Geekbench, so this is a pretty standard way to kind of measure a device's speed. So we have a multi-core score of 2158, which beats most budget devices, and kind of falls just underneath a lot of mid-range devices in terms of the clock speeds that this thing is able to pull off. So another thing you can see here is it is running Android 6.0, so that's a slight negative because it's not running the newest operating software, and probably chances are it's not ever going to get Android 7.0 if I'm a guessing man. So we have 2 gigs of RAM on here, 16 gigs of onboard storage, but there is a micro SD card slot that you can throw in for extra storage if you need it. So in terms of performance, what I have found is that social media is absolutely no problem. Go into your Facebook feed, scroll through it, and all that loads up pretty well. No issues there, and you can see it's going through just fine. So social media works really well. Going into my Google Now feed, you can see that everything is running just fine there. Gaming, so I've only played some pretty basic games on here, like NBA Jam, Beach Buggy Racing up here. Those are some of the games that I play typically. And I'm not a huge gamer, to be honest with you. But when I did play those 2 games, they ran really well. I did try a couple of heavier games, so like Modern Combat, and that one you definitely found some frame drops. I played Asphalt 8. I ended up deleting it off of here because it's not really a game I normally play, but I tried it out on here. And again, you got a few frame drops. It's not the smoothest experience I've ever had playing that game, but overall I would say, for your basic gaming, Netflix, YouTube, and things like that, this is a fantastic device, and mainly because of these front firing speakers that just give it excellent sound quality. And we have a 720p so HD display here, which on an 8-inch tablet, that's probably not the greatest resolution, but we're talking about a tablet that costs less than $100. And I would say, unless you're really trying to look at really small text, so if I go into like maybe a website here and try to zoom in on the text, you will start to see maybe, okay, so it won't even let me zoom in on that. because it is actually the full website there. But if you are pixel hunting, you will definitely be able to see pixels on some of the smaller text. So if I could find maybe like a website like Swappa, apparently I was looking up smartwatches earlier today. And if you were to zoom in on some text, anyways, it looks like this is going to take a little while to load up, mainly because of my home Wi-Fi, not because of the website itself. But zoom in here, and well, no, actually you can't see any pixels there. So, but just trust me that the display does look nice. And it does get quite bright. So like, let's say you want to use this for like reading outdoors. I think it is actually not a bad device for that. Now on the brightest day, you're definitely going to have to put it all the way up to the top in terms of brightness. But I found that, even reading or going through websites on a super bright day, I had no issues with it. So that part I think is good. Obviously, I already mentioned the entertainment, and the basic gaming is going to be just fine on here. So that is the performance, and kind of already labored that out a little bit too much. So let's jump into next the battery life, because of course that's something that people care about. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into, this is a pretty typical day for me using this device. So we're at 43%. I took it off the charger this morning. So if I go into the battery here, you can see obviously cell standby, it's killing a lot of battery just kind of sitting around when I'm not using it. But if I go in here to screen on time use, I tried to use this a lot today. So you can see, 4 hours. So I let my kids watch some shows on it and things like that. So 4 hours of screen on time at 43% battery. So you're looking at around 7 hours of screen on time is probably typical, which is pretty good. 7 hours of screen on time definitely will get, if it's not a daily driver kind of a device, it's definitely going to get you through a full day easily. And probably you're going to last 2 or 3 days with this device. So in terms of build quality, you can see obviously the back is rubberized. And you can see it definitely collects a little bit of fingerprints. My hands are pretty greasy though, so that's why you can see all that. But it's definitely got that rubberized feel like the Z Max Pro, but it's got a nice little, like, I don't know, dimpled feel to it, and so it's very, very easy to hold on to. You're definitely not gonna drop it unless you're kind of being a little crazy with it. But you can see here that it does take a SIM card. So if you want to throw in, because it is unlocked, I threw in my T-Mobile card and had 4G LTE with no problem. It does have micro SD card, which you're probably going to want to use because out of the box, you're only getting 10 gigs of storage remaining. Like I mentioned, it's 16 on board, but you're only getting 10 because of the operating system. The software is taking up 6 of that. So we do have a power button and volume rocker up here. I do kind of wish the power button was below. So that's maybe one just small complaint for me in terms of the build quality. And then we have a 5 megapixel camera on the back. One thing to notice here is that there is no flash, so obviously low light situations are not going to be the best here, and it's only a 5 megapixel camera. Same thing on the front, another 5 megapixel camera. We do have a headphone jack, of course, which is nice, and then it does charge via Type-C, so another nice feature that this thing has to offer with that Type-C charging. So build quality wise, it's certainly not going to be a top of the line device in terms of build quality. But again, we're talking about a device that costs $100. And like I mentioned, for me, this is primarily an entertainment device. It's for my kids to play games on. It's for, Netflix watching, YouTube and things like that. And I think for that purpose, this is a fantastic device. If you want a device, a tablet for gaming, I would say pass on this one. But if you're just looking for something to browse around on the internet, maybe do some, documents, maybe you want to sync up a Bluetooth keyboard and type up a document. It's good for that kind of thing, but certainly not good for, heavy duty gaming or things like that. So overall, I really think that this is a fantastic device for that price point. Now, I will mention one thing that is just a little bit annoying is, of course, all the AT&T bloatware. Outside of the AT&T bloatware, this is pretty much just stock Android. Like I mentioned, it is running an older version of Android. So one thing that's just a little bit annoying is the fact that, with Android 7.0, those two Facebook, what are they? notifications would all be kind of put together. So that's just, I like Android 7.0 for that purpose. And of course, we don't get the multitasking windows like you do on Android 7 as a result of this being on Android 6.0. So that's just a small limitation. But for me personally, for the tablet, for less than $100, that's an okay thing to deal with. But in terms of the apps, I want to mention here that you can disable these apps. You can't actually get rid of them. So I can go in here, the AT&T All Access, and disable it, but I won't be able to totally get rid of it. So that's just one thing that's maybe just a little bit annoying. You're kind of stuck with all that AT&T bloatware, but you can disable it. So anyways, hopefully this has been helpful for you. Thanks for watching. Check out the website yugster.com. And as always, I will see you all in the next video.